Good day, everyone, and welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. I'm Anna Uspinskaya, and I'll be hosting today's program for you. This is the Music and Musicians Around the Globe show, and today's program is dedicated to a very exciting announcement of the new double modern classics album release. It's being released on Cicerone Music and Art label. The first album was released a few days ago, and the volume 2 is going to be released in just 3 days. It's my great pleasure and my team's great pleasure too to serve musicians and music lovers by providing programs and music that is live, that is accessible, it's interactive, and bring us all closer together and more connected, and bring you the valuable live music from around the globe. Welcome again to Virtual Concert Halls. I'm Anna Uspinskaya. And today's program of Music and Musicians Around the Globe is dedicated to the new release of the double album titled Modern Classics. This is the 2 albums which are being released back to back within a few days apart and dedicated to new music for string quartet by living composers. Today we'll give a peek preview of what's in the album. You'll be able to hear some short samples of the music which is included in the album. You'll be able to enjoy the beautiful sounds which composers created and which the Lehner Quartet brought to life on this album. We will also go through the journey which musicians and producers, audio engineers, and everyone involved in the production of these albums had to go through to bring us to this culminating point. This captivating series of albums celebrate the dynamic intersection of classical music's timeless artistry and the bold creativity of contemporary composers. Featuring performances by some of today's most accomplished classical musicians, each album presents an exquisite blend of masterful interpretation and fresh, innovative compositions. From intimate string quartets to grand orchestral works to concertos, these albums provide a unique platform for emerging voices in classical composition, offering listeners also a journey through both familiar traditions and unexplored musical landscape. And just a few words about the Lehner Quartet, which brings vibrant energy and impeccable precision to our first double album release, a bold collection of brand new string quartets that redefine the boundaries of chamber music, quite frankly. Each composition, meticulously crafted by rising contemporary composers, offers a fresh perspective on the timeless string quartet format. The string quartet format has been in existence for centuries, and today the composers are still experimenting and finding new colors and new themes for that very established group of classical musicians. From the hauntingly beautiful to the explosively rhythmic, these pieces explore a wide range of emotions and soundscapes, showcasing the Lehner Quartet's mastery and versatility. This album is a thrilling testament to the future of classical music. I strongly believe in it, where tradition meets innovation in every single note of it. Just a few words about what else we do. If you're new to the Virtual Concert Hall's music channel, our programs range from auditions to concerts at Carnegie Hall, to concerts with orchestras worldwide, and the daily Music and Musicians Around the Globe shows. We take artists through the new virtual stage to the stages such as Carnegie Hall and many other stages. The new virtual stage is accessible to everyone from everywhere in the world. It has its own limitations, it has its own advantages. It's a beautiful stage, but there is also a traditional stage in brick and mortar concert halls. And our journey is longer now, and we are taking artists through the steps of the virtual stage and to the stages such as Carnegie Hall. All the pieces which were included in this double Modern Classics album were performed at the Carnegie Hall in the past season 23-24 in several different concerts. And these pieces were received by the audience with a great warmth, with a great appreciation, and I hope everyone will take that journey together with us. There is a QR code in the corner of the screen which you can see, and if you put your camera right in front of it, it'll take you to the collection of the platforms where you can start enjoying this music right away. This album is being released on all digital audio download platforms. If you are a fan of Apple Radio, it's there. If you prefer iTunes, it's there too. And if you like to go to Amazon, you will be able to find that album in that platform and many others. Please take a look at this QR code, use your camera, and go there. Just a quick introduction about the Carnegie season, which presented those quartets in the last season and will present more new music. We keep discovering more great music which composers produce today. It will be discovered in this 24-25 concert season too. Yes, this is a quick presentation of a big season. We have 7 concerts at the Carnegie Hall. And if you haven't joined our vibrant family of musicians propelling music and musicians everywhere, making us more connected and more accessible, please consider joining. If you're watching, leave us a comment, get in touch with us. We're always looking for more artists to join our growing family. Not only we are at the Carnegie Hall, we take musicians, composers, performers to the world stages through our collaborative project called Orchestra. We are so grateful to all the orchestras which have joined us for this season. This is the third season of Call Orchestra, and these are opportunities for people to perform with all these orchestras and for composers to have their music presented and in the concerts, in the broadcasts, and recorded for the albums. What better can we wish for but this kind of collaboration of musicians around the entire world? As artists, as performers, and myself too, I had to learn early on how to collaborate with other musicians, and this is probably the hardest task I've ever learned, and I can't even say that I mastered it. But the nature of collaborative co-creative process is really what fuels our projects, and we join hands with conductors, orchestras, opera houses, ensembles, composers, and everyone who wants to add the positive energy to this movement. Please consider joining our family. And I want to also extend special thanks to several of our collaborators who were very closely involved in today's release of the double album Modern Classics. Thank you very much, Cicerone Music and Art, CiMA, the boutique label of album production based in Netherlands and Italy. And we are very, very grateful to Imre de Jong and Jan-Ricardo Pierre, who really held everybody's hand through the entire process of publication. Thank you very much. And many, many thanks goes to Progressive Musicians and their director, James Welch, who led the team of engineers recording, editing and mastering these recordings, and making sure that musicians feel comfortable and perform their best during the recording sessions. Thank you very much, James. And we want to also extend many thanks to our another partner in this project, the Price Attractions, and their owner and founder, Jack Price, formerly known as Dikran Atamianu, world-class pianist. Thank you very much for supporting this project with networking, with finding a lot of support and expertise, and helping us make the overall scope of this project work. It's not that easy. Thank you very much. And we also are very, very grateful for the growing family of our supporters from all over the world. You see on the screen many, many logos and pictures. These are just the brandings of many, many companies, but what's important is my many thanks go to the people behind those pictures, behind those logos, because you are absolutely incredible. You're very generous with sharing your expertise, your resources, your time, your knowledge, and your goodwill towards making all of this work, making this presented, and finding its audience in the world. Thank you very much. We stream on all the major platforms. That's how we go into the world and bring all this music to people's attention. We are on Vimeo, on Spotify, on Instagram, on YouTube, and everything. And we are on many also platforms which are curated by great musicians, musicologists, and specialists who really know the best of the best content for their own audiences. Thank you very much for the honor of taking our content and bringing it to your audiences. And now I want to take everyone through the journey which musicians and composers took in preparation and in recording and producing, editing, and finally producing this beautiful product, the Modern Classics double album. One thing, if you're not familiar with a recording process, it's quite a complicated steps which musicians need to take, including learning what the composer meant. There's of course instruction, there's sheet music and all of that, but the living composer is a special opportunity for all performers, and I myself always enjoyed very, very much the opportunity to ask the composer the questions, to get the feedback, to get the direction from the horse's mouth, from the creator of the piece I'm about to learn and perform. And we have several short clips which we're going to show you where the members members of the Lehner Quartet are interacting with the composers of the pieces and discussing how to best present the piece. And the first one we want to show you is a short clip with Joel Feigin from the pre-recording session, which took place maybe a few days before the recording session. The album features Joel Feigin's composition for the string quartet called Mosaic in 2 panels. Simply panel 1 and panel 2. So you heard a snippet from one of those, and we have a peek preview also prepared for you from both of the panels, a little snippet of the music in there, so you can get the idea of what's in the album. Please don't forget to put your camera at the QR code over here, and that will take you to the platform where you will see links to all of the audio platforms where this album is now being released. That's a very interesting question mark at the end. I can't wait to hear the rest of it. So as I mentioned before, the piece which was recorded for the album by Joel Feigin is Mosaic in 2 panels, and we heard a snippet from one of them, and we'll have a little short clip to show you from the other one. So these were the 2 clips from Joel Feigin's Mosaic in Two Panels, the piece which is included in the double Modern Classics album released on Cicerone Music and Art label, performed by Lehner Quartet. This piece was also presented at the Carnegie Hall to the great acclaim and quite warm reception of the audience. Thank you, Joel, for working with us. The album also present the recording of Jana Skarecky's Australian Images for String Quartet. That piece consists of 4 movements, and I'll read out the titles: Kata Tjuta, Uluru, Ubirr, Karrimurra Waterfall. These are the 4 movements of the Jana Skarecky's Australian Images piece for the string quartet. And again, we have a short example of how Jana and the Lehner Quartet were working on preparation remotely for those recording sessions.
Thank you.
It was great for the quartet to be able to work with the composers in the close interaction while they were preparing for the recording. And some of the dynamics and expressions were altered and changed by the composers during those sessions. It was just incredible to observe the development and the growth of the pieces in the hands of the Lehner Quartet musicians. And we have a couple of short clips which we want to show you, just a peek preview of how the recording sounds on the album. And again, I'd like to ask you to don't ignore the QR code. It will take you directly to the website where you can click on any of the platforms. And I also want to mention that much more information can be found on the Progressive Musicians website, where you will find the bios of the composers, more liner notes about the pieces, the history, and the how the pieces were created and why, and more pictures from the Carnegie Hall where the pieces were presented. So you will be able to not just only listen to the music, but also understand the context of who created this music, why, how, and what's its future going to show. So let's hear a couple of examples of Jana Skarecky's quartet for piece for string quartet, Australian Images. You'll also see some examples of the bios and the images in this little clip. we invite all composers to consider working with the Lehner Quartet and presenting your pieces on the stage of the Carnegie Hall and in the next releases of our Modern Classics albums. And here's one more example of the piece by Jana Skarecky. This piece is dedicated to, it's a very intriguing story. It's dedicated to various scenes of the Australian nature. Composers had been interested in nature and representing it in the sounds and soundscapes of their pieces forever, ever since the idea was planted in the humanity to create music. And so there's another composer whose piece is presented in the double album Modern Classics, Leopold Brauneiss from Germany, the Natura silentii. Let's hear a little bit of an example from that piece. Imagery and dedication to different topics and themes of life take shape, and they're so wide among the interests of composers. So the next piece I would like to give you a little peek preview is very different, by Noam Faingold, Where Our Voices Hide When We Must Speak. Just judging from the title of it, you can tell this is quite different from being focused on the nature. A very interesting piece, which I would like to get an idea of what it sounds like. Innovative spirit is at the absolute core of music composition, of course, and this puts a lot of challenge and pressure on musicians when trying to perform and to record these pieces, and the Lehner Quartet lived up to the challenge quite spectacularly, because every one of the compositions which were selected for these albums presented quite a different compositional approach. And the next piece by Peter Dickson Lopez, MISE-EN Series 2, Episode 1. And I'm not going to tell you much about it. You can always go to Progressive Musician's website, to the page dedicated to the double album, and find out more of the story behind each of the pieces and some specifics and some details about those pieces. But I'm going to challenge my audience to see if you recognize what is so unique and unusual in the compositional technique of the next piece by Peter Dickson Lopez. Quite unique, huh? And beautiful. If you want to learn more about the compositional techniques by Peter Dickson Lopez and find out more information and just get the idea of the context of where these pieces coming from, where those composers coming from, what their background, what their aspirations are, please go to Progressive Musician's website, to the page which is dedicated to these releases. You can also go straight to listening to this music. There is a QR code in the corner of the screen, and use your camera to go straight to one of your favorite platforms. It'll give you buttons where you can go to Apple or Amazon or Deezer or iTunes, YouTube Music, whichever one is your favorite. The album is released there. I also want to show you a clip of the last but not least piece on the album. It was very difficult for me to decide on the order because each one of them is so unique and so beautiful. So please don't take the order as the order of importance, because it absolutely is not. This piece is by William Toutant, and it's titled Quarantine Quartet. Quite an amazing piece. Enjoy a little speak preview. That's a very short peek preview, and you can use the QR code to hear everything else, and you can go to Progressive Musician's website to learn more about the composers, about the pieces, about the Lehner Quartet, and also about our project, which is dedicated to presenting newly composed music by living composers and bringing it to life, bringing it to the attention of everyone. It so much deserves it, and you will be so enriched by learning these people, learning their music, and understanding what they're doing and being part of this. With this, I would like to finish the program with by extending my gratitude and lots of thanks to Virtual Concert Hall's team. Guys, you're awesome. Thank you so much for working on the back and supporting our programs. And I want to tell everyone, please remember, these are wonderful musicians who are supporting fellow musicians on our journey through virtual stages to the biggest stages in the world. And that's our mission, to connect everyone in the joy of making music and being part of this beautiful art. And with this, I'll sign off. I'm Anna Uspinskaya. I was hosting this program from Washington, D.C. suburbs, and this was dedicated to the new release of the double album Modern Classics by Lehner Quartet, dedicated to newly composed music by living composers. Thank you all very much for joining us, and join us again every day at Music and Musicians around the globe or in many of our other programs. Bye now.